What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Icing the Puck. We are deep into the Stanley Cup right now. We're about, well, if the series goes to 7, we're about halfway through right now. And, a couple episodes ago, our last episode, I said I didn't think this was going to be a very fun cup, and I was completely wrong. Do you remember that? I said that. I said,
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not expecting much. I was completely wrong. But Jordan, how are you doing, man? We'll get into that.
I'm good. I've been enjoying it. I mean, it's good hockey. The reason I don't enjoy it is because I don't enjoy either team that is in the playoff or in
The cup.
the cup. But it's been enjoyable watching because like I have no stake in it. So it's kind of like just watching good hockey, which it
Sure.
has been pretty good. Like the games have been pretty
The
good.
games have
Last
been
night's game was crazy.
Yeah, the games have been absolutely electric. And I mean, we'll just hit it off running here in this episode. All we really have to talk about here is the Stanley Cup. We say it all the time. Unfortunately, we are coming to the end of the season. It's rough for guys like us who, we live off of this. This is what we do here. But yeah, game one. Game one. I properly predicted that Vegas was going to win that game, and I got that right. And I just, I had this feeling, man, that Vegas, kind of counted out for a while. Obviously, they have the great decision to hire Tortorella at the end of the year. They go on quite a run here in the playoffs, and especially sweeping your abs. And here they are. I thought they were just too hot. Like they were too hot to lose that first game to Carolina, who we talked about it, had a lot of rest, maybe a little too much rest this playoff. And I mean, Vegas had the momentum fully behind them, and they had to earn it. But then ultimately, Tomas Hertl, who's had a great playoff, gets that game-winning goal, and here we
Yeah,
are.
yeah. I mean, I saw game one going either way, but I don't know. I think that. Is it kind of crazy to say that for most of the games, Vegas has played better than Carolina? Vegas has had some moments where they've really slacked and let up, but overall, like for most of these games, they have been kind of in control here. Like Carolina's had to kind of keep up a little bit.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, last night's game was kind of crazy. 3 goals in like 30 seconds from Carolina was
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
And put them right back in that game and allowed them to force overtime. But yeah, you're not going to keep winning games if you half the goals scored in the game are by your own team, on yourself. That's rough.
Calling out Sean Walker and Freddie there. Mitch Marner magic found a way to get it in. And what about Mitch Marner, man? Your Conn Smythe prediction. I mean, hat trick last night, just rocking, man, just absolutely rocking.
I think I said it last night. Whether Vegas wins or loses the cup, he's going to win the Conn Smythe. I think there's no way he doesn't.
Yeah, he's definitely. I mean, he's led this playoff in points the whole way. I said Taylor Hall because I thought the Canes were going to be the winning team, but Taylor Hall has been a little bit of a ghost since this series started, and that's to go for a lot of the guys on Carolina. Stankoven's kind of been a ghost. Gostisbehere, who was really helping them out, especially on special teams, he's kind of been out of the picture a little bit.
Yeah,
but their first line is lighting it up for them.
Yeah, it's been their first line, and then I mean Slavin. So I think Slavin has a bunch of assists in this series so far.
Did Slavin have a goal last night?
No, he had an assist last night.
Yeah.
His shot was tipped on that. That was that third goal. That was Stahl that scored the goal. He tipped it in, I think.
Yeah,
Pretty sure.
yeah.
But I mean, he's been the most noticeable, other than a couple defensive lapses, which that happens. It's you can't win them all. You can't be perfect 100% of the time, but
You're
he's been more
the best
noticeable.
team, so
Absolutely, yeah. It's in the hardest game of the the hardest series of the entire Stanley Cup playoffs is the last one. So, but yeah, I definitely think Marner has been the standout player from both teams in general, and that they kind of touched on it last night in the game, but Eichel has been a little bit missing until last night.
Yeah, didn't have a single shot on goal in game two. And that's a game that they really needed him to step up. They need a lot of guys to step up. I mean, I'm wondering if we're going to go to overtime in every game now. Carolina having Jarvis as the hero in game two, and obviously Shea Theodore last night, who also has been a big piece for Vegas. So
yeah. By the way, you said it when I was talking about the own goal thing. That second own goal was not Freddie Anderson. He was not in net. That was Bussy.
Yeah. My bad. That was Bussy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although I will say this. I think they should go with him for game 4. I know there's some kind of speculation on who they're going to go with for game 4 as their starting goalie.
Should go with Bussy?
Mm-hmm.
We are Bussy lovers on this show.
Yeah. I mean, not that Anderson has like messed up a lot. I mean, that was only his, 3rd loss of the playoffs?
Well, but I will say this about Anderson, though, is you look at the series as they've gone on. Yeah, I think he allowed, 4 goals to Ottawa total in 4 games, 5 goals to Philly in 4 games, and then 10 goals to Montreal in 5 games. And then now he's already
12.
in 3 games. It's 12. Yeah. And I mean, it's not looking good.
Is
It's
it
not looking
the
good.
classic Freddie Anderson slide, and he's going on a
I think
downturn
so.
now? Because that's what happens with him. He goes and has this like super hot streak, and then he's absolutely terrible for like a few months.
Yeah.
And that's not what you want right now. But I mean, Bussy, I thought they should have gone with him to begin with. I think that he is the risk with him is being, never having any playoff experience. But you saw a lot of goalies in this year's playoffs getting their first opportunities, rookies and more veteran goalies getting their first playoff experiences. And I think overall he is a better goalie than Anderson. Anderson just has more experience than him, and that's why they went with him. But I don't know, man. I think Bussy kind of carried them for a while there. Like he had a super hot start to the year, and all throughout the year, whenever he had a little bit of a rough patch in the middle there, but overall he was pretty solid for the entire year. And
Well,
I think they give him an opportunity here.
Another thing here too with Bussy is you have to give the guy a lot of credit for never playing in the playoffs ever. He gets called in when Freddie is just underperforming. So all the pressure's on him. All the lights are on him. And I mean, he holds Carolina strong all the way through the 3rd period and 2 more overtime periods.
I'll say this, though. I mean, I don't think that goal, the game-winning goal, the overtime goal, was his fault. It was just bad luck.
Yeah.
So
I
I'll give him a hard time because Carolina's a team, a hard time for like own goals or whatever, but it really was not his fault on that one. I mean, he maybe played a little bit too far forward, maybe a little bit out of position, but that's a crazy like bounce on that on the off the back wall. I mean, it's just any goalie could have done that. It's not on him.
Well,
he did play. He hit the 3rd period. He played really, really well.
It was a puck luck shot for that game winner, and that's not to say Vegas was lucky to win this game.
I mean, it was not an intentional goal at all. It just happened to. And they were just trying to make
got a good bounce.
Yeah, they were just trying to make space and trying to make things happen and just going for it, causing some chaos and everything, and it ended up as a goal that if it had gone like an inch higher, it wouldn't have been a goal. It would have gone, right over the top of his pad. It's like it's insane margin on that, and there's no way that was intentional, and it's not like it was misplayed by anybody. It just
for sure,
for sure. So, but that's how it happens, though. Like that kind of thing happens, and
as a goalie, like once again, not 100% Bussy's fault, but you have to. I mean, I feel like the number one attribute as a goaltender is you got to be ready. Like you got to be ready for anything that comes at you, and I mean, just wasn't ready. But can we just we have to break down a little bit how electric this cup has been. Like all of these games, like for real. For a guy who's not a fan of either of these and borderline kind of just wishes they weren't in the cup, which I think we've talked about before. Like,
not a fan of either of these, bro.
What do you mean?
I see you here. What are you talking about?
We have to stop. We have to stop this calling out, this confronting that we go through on a regular basis here. I am a fan of one team and one team only, and that's the Dallas Stars.
Doesn't help that you switch it up to every other Canadian team depending on the week.
Sometimes I'm not so much a fan, just an advocate.
Yeah, not all the Canadian teams are out, you're back to the Leafs, aren't you? I know it. I know you are.
To be determined when the off season begins. But yeah, we're sticking where we are. But no, I mean, every game, we have been really given a treat here. We held out our hand. They placed more candy than they usually would on Halloween. That's kind of what we're going through right now. It's a good day. It's a good time. This cup, if it goes to 7, PK Subban, we were watching the game together last night, and he said this might be the greatest cup ever. And I think I made a remark to y'all. I was like, he's saying this is the greatest cup ever. This is crazy. And then I really, it's funny. I woke up this morning at 11:30 a.m. and I'm laying in bed. And I'm thinking about the game last night, and I'm like, if this goes to 7 and we get this product the whole way through, this might actually be like a top 5 cup of all time. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think the issue with that is it's a very personal like opinion on what is considered the greatest cup. Like, there's no way that you can agree on one being the greatest, because for one team, it's the greatest cup ever. For one fan, for another fan, it's the absolute worst one because they watch their team lose. Like, you can't. I get what you're saying. Like, I get what he was trying to say. Like, he was saying it's just like from an outside perspective, like the gameplay and just everything like that is really good. But I think you have to take into account when you're talking about that the teams who are playing. And I know that this is a bias of mine because I don't like either of these teams that. Wish it was other teams. So I'm not even saying not even just my the Avs or whatever. Any 2 other teams I would have been probably okay with.
Well, I can say this. This is definitely not like,
maybe not the Oilers.
It's not like the league's cup. It's not like America's cup, the most desirable cup. Because like if we wanted like a biggest fan bases type of cup, like no joke. I mean, honestly, the last 2. The 2, the first one and the rematch from the past 2 cups, like that's like there's a bunch of Oilers fans up in Canada, and I think Canada was kind of rallying behind them. And then the Panthers, like I think the first 2 times they made the cup, it was exciting, and then they started to get the hate last year with the cap issues, kind of rolling off how Vegas did it, the cheating and all that. I would call it cheating. But I just feel like they were more like hype matchups. You know what I mean? Like coming into this one, everybody hates Vegas, or like majority of fans hate Vegas. And then Carolina is just like a team. I feel like nobody, unfortunately, like nobody really cares about Carolina. Like I don't think there's, they have their fans in the niche section of the
only
country.
The only reason that anybody is rooting for Carolina right now is because they're not Vegas.
Yeah, because they hate Vegas. Yeah. But, and I think that's added a little bit to the electricity. But, like, if it didn't have this level of play, I don't think people would be talking about it. And also, if we're talking about this from, like, a sports argument in general, because a lot of people talk about this with football. This is, you could say it's one of the greatest cups because it's the most highest scoring cup since I believe 1985 or 86. I think that's what they were talking about on the broadcast last night. Like, and it's subjective, obviously. Like, is high scoring good, or would you rather see like goalies take over the game? There's 2 different sides of hockey.
Yeah, like super defensive, low scoring
and these
games.
Goalies have not taken over the game, like by any means. So, but I would say in general, I've had a great time watching it. I think every game has been great. Unfortunately, I'm not going to catch the games this week because I have school.
The opposites.
But, opposite schedule. I'll have to
hopefully they do go to overtime so you can watch the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we'll see. But YouTube is going to be my best friend. But I think it's been good. I mean, those are all my remarks I have on it. I would actually change my Conn Smythe pick to Mitch Marner now. I think that's the main thing. I think, like, one last thing I'll add real quick is if Carolina wants to win this cup, they have to start capitalizing on their opportunities. I feel like there have been the biggest game changer in this so far through 3 games is anytime you give Vegas something, the breakaways, the power plays, anytime you give Vegas something, I mean, they've taken it and ran with it. Carolina, I feel like, has had a lot of miscues. And that's a classic. We talk about how Freddie Anderson kind of drops off a little bit after a while. He's inconsistent. I'm going to say it. It's going to be unpopular to Carolina fans. I don't care. But this is classic Rod Brind'Amour. It's almost like Bednar, to where he didn't change his style. And Brind'Amour may have changed his lines a little bit towards the bottom. I believe Taylor Hall was on the 4th line most of last night. And, Stankoven was moved up. Yeah, Blake moved up. But it's like the style of play, and I get it. They've won off of this. I mean, they lost 1 game leading up to this. Like, but Vegas is a different animal, man. I mean, they're ready and they're fast. They're very, very fast. And I think last thing I'm going to say, sorry, I'm yapping. This is the first time I think Vegas has been fully healthy, like going into a cup final. Because even in their 2023, they're missing a couple guys defensively.
Yeah,
but
and they had some guys that were injured too.
Yeah,
and were playing through injury.
So Vegas looks good. They look fresh. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say I definitely agree with that. And one thing I've kind of noticed, and this goes to why I was saying like Vegas has kind of been the better team and has kind of controlled the game a lot more, is every time. Like they've had the most pressure, like sustained pressure basically. And when Carolina makes a mistake, or something like that, Vegas is able to capitalize on it because they're kind of fresh. They're kind of, they haven't been on the back foot, so they can make the most of that opportunity. With Carolina, I've noticed a lot of, as soon as Vegas makes a mistake, they use that opportunity not to attack and try and score. They're like, now's our moment to, like, shoot the puck back at them and change, or like have a breather for a second.
Yeah.
And that's not going to, because on it, that's one of the same thing that's happened to Colorado. Is Vegas was just so, was able to lock them down so much and even just apply, a little bit more pressure on them, that as soon as they had an opportunity to counterattack, they didn't take it, because they're like, we need to take a second. Like, we need a moment here to catch our breath, to regroup, kind of thing, and stop playing on the back foot. But then as soon as they do that, they make a little mistake and then they're right back on the back foot again, and it's really hard to know when to do that. It's like, there's always the risk of it. Do I overextend and play this and try and make it an opportunity, like an offensive opportunity? And yeah, if it works out, that's awesome. But if it doesn't, then you're having, it's the complete opposite effect. And you're just like, you mess up so bad that Vegas now has this, this crazy opportunity. And most of the time they've been scoring on those. I mean, there was like 4 breakaways or like 4 odd man rushes and stuff in the second period. That's what allowed Vegas to score 4 goals in one period.
Yeah.
Is they just had so much pressure there. I mean, they did let off a little bit in the third period, and that's where Carolina started to,
come back.
But even then, Carolina really only had literally like 30 seconds of, pressure like that. And then, the game tying goal, the overtime, the goal that tied them to go to overtime or whatever. That was probably another moment there, but they were really not in control of that game, even though they did come back.
Well, yeah, you can't rely on, quick goals through one period to get you a win. I mean, like, it could happen every now and then, but you got to get that sustained pressure, and then Vegas is gassing them out. I mean, I noticed this past game last night, they're starting to double Marner now. They're starting to double defend Hurdle now. Like, they're having a lot of trouble putting their efforts on individual guys rather than just
the thing is, though, it's still not working because Marner's still able to make plays. I mean, it happened last night. I mean, he had a 4-point night.
Yeah.
It while being, double coverage and everything. It's crazy. So dude is really good when he doesn't have the weight of having to carry Toronto. Basically.
Yeah. Crazy.
Even though he's kind of carrying Vegas right now, but he's, doing it because he wants to and has the opportunity to, instead of getting all the blame, dude. So
yeah,
glad he was able to get out of Toronto, but unfortunately it's with Vegas. But hey,
that's how the dice are rolled, man. But been a great cup. We've really enjoyed it. We've gotten to watch together here a few times. It's been good. But enough about that. We have a big rumor. I do have one other thing. I just thought about this. If Vegas wins the cup, are we kind of like half right in saying at the beginning of the year that we think Vegas is going to have like the best record, kind of, like when we predicted that they were going to win the President's Trophy at the beginning of the season? We did. Did we both predict that?
Yeah, I think so. And then like we're like, yeah, the Vegas is going to be so good, and they started off so bad, but now they're in the Stanley Cup Final. What if they win the Stanley Cup? It's like, we're kind of like half right. Is that like honorary points? Like,
it might be.
We might get like an asterisk or whatever next to it.
We were on to something. Obviously, if they win,
bro, we just know puck. We just know puck.
We do. But
everybody that says we do, everybody that says we don't, man. I do.
If all of y'all would just listen when we speak, you would understand. Yeah, we have some crazy takes sometimes, but that's the fun of it. What podcast doesn't?
That's just sports in general. You got to have the crazy takes for the clips and the views, I'm going
to say it, bro. When the big boy podcasts give their wild takes, people are like, yes, Biz, feed me. Oh, yes, like, let me hear it. I Sing the Puck gives a crazy take, and they're like, y'all are the worst podcasts in hockey ever. Yeah. Like, that's and everybody else,
like those big podcasts, like their crazy takes are like the most mid, like lame takes ever.
They're boring.
Not even so that good.
Boring. Like,
yeah, you get the insane like schizo takes from Icing the Puck. That's where it's at,
guys. Y'all need to stop watching the Jimmy Kimmels of podcasts and come to like, the underground media. This is the real raw, like, passionate conversation. where every week I swear we like bring up something so stupid, like
Yeah.
but
It's crazy.
whatever.
It's like damn small podcast starts beef with major hockey podcasts.
Yeah,
Like we
I
don't
know.
even
Watch,
don't even know who
the
we are. It's like who is this?
I'm
Who
in.
are these people?
Their god, we're ants. Like they're like whatever, like
You know
so
what though?
small in the
There's
scale of
more of
things.
us than there are of them. It's
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but nah, man, let's get to Dylan Larkin real quick before we end the episode because this is a thing going on right now. I feel like it's the premier story outside the Stanley Cup. Apparently there's for like 3 years now, Dylan Larkin has been trying to get out of Detroit, but they won't let him go. Is there, kind of on the Marner thing, like, is there a chance? Obviously, I don't think he's as good of a player as Mitch Marner, but is Dylan Larkin kind of the next Mitch Marner? Do you know what I'm saying by that? Like, he's getting held back by a horrible Detroit organization.
I mean, I think it's a little bit different of a situation because nobody's blaming Dylan Larkin. Like people were actively blaming Mitch Marner and saying he was the problem and that he needed to go. It's kind of the opposite way now of Dylan Larkin's like the organization is the problem. I need to go because like they're holding me back, which honestly I think is true. But I think the thing that's causing that, players think that all the time and the, kind of people request trades all the time from teams. I think the thing that's the craziest about this and what's got a lot of people talking about it as much is because like the past couple seasons he's been all in. He's been saying like, talking up the organization and be like, well, I believe in this organization and in this team and we're doing great. It's like, we're making moves, we're doing our thing. And even like recently, like a month or two ago or whatever, he's like, yeah, I believe in everything we're doing here and I have full faith in everybody. And then he's like, I'm requesting a trade even though I have a no trade clause in my contract. Like that's how bad he wants to go. Like he was like, I'm staying here. Like that probably was part of the stipulation to get his contract because it's like an 8-year contract, right? I think total.
Yeah, I think it was max term.
Yeah. And he's like, it's part of it's like no trade clause. So he's, locked up and nothing can happen. Nobody can even request anything. But then he comes out and requests a trade. Things have to be pretty bad to do that. And I think that might have been part of like, this is kind of getting into, like with like the Olympics and stuff like that, if you look back at it, maybe it was an organizational problem that led to that, not so much, Team USA or anything. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that him getting a trade out of there will be the best thing for his career right now because he's kind of on a hot streak. I mean, he's doing really well and he plays really well with the team as is. Imagine if he goes to a competitive team and like, a team who has way more pieces in place. And that's where the bigger the kind of more rumors have come from is where's he going to end up? Like who is going to make a trade for him and who has stuff to trade that Detroit's going to want. I have my opinions on that.
Go ahead, share. Why don't you share?
No, I'm past what I said before. Although, I mean, it could still be a possibility. The issue is going to be assets. I said that, he would be a perfect fit in Colorado, which he would be. I mean, absolutely. It's just a matter of what they would trade to get him. And I don't know. I mean, it would probably be something like the first two pieces that are going to be traded from Colorado this offseason. Mark my words, this is my prediction right now. 2 players are getting traded or offloaded, and it's going to be Colton and it's going to be Nichushkin.
Wow. Well,
yeah,
we're not going to turn this over to a Colorado conversation. So fast.
However,
but
I think the more likely place that Larkin is going to end up is like Winnipeg.
Really? I have a very different one than that. And I have a place that I would love to see him go just because I love when a team, I love seeing a rebuild get fast tracked. I would love to see him go to San Jose. And I think they have the pieces to do it. I think if they get a high skill 2-way center like that, I mean, not only does it add the depth, but you add just an amazing player who's a great leader and a veteran as well. Like for a team that's so young. And I think they have the pieces. Like I think they could trade a Misa. Obviously, like he's only played his rookie year, but you kind of have to trade prospect like that for a high-profile guy. Misa, a couple picks. I mean, they have that number 2 overall pick, so maybe they don't have to give up as much as other teams would. I said it last night. You all kind of disagreed with me, but I think a fun one is Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh is kind of looking for a new face guy. new face of the franchise guy for the next, 6 to 8 years after Crosby leaves. Whenever he does, I think Larkin is good enough, but would he want to go there? That's the question. It all depends on, we need to see how this develops and where he really wants to go, but I think the market for him is probably, like, if I'm being honest, it's at least, 14 to 16 teams that are probably looking for a center. I could also see Buffalo with, Alex Tuck leaving for free agency most likely, but would they trade him to a division rival? I don't think they would. But
depends on what they get in return, honestly. I think that's what right now, like, they kind of, I mean, obviously they don't have to trade him. Like, he's requested a trade, but it depends on what the trade is. Like, they could refuse all kinds of trades, which it gotta be awkward. It's gotta be really awkward to be like, I want out of here, but I'll still play for you guys. Like, that's,
well, it's like, it's like Larkin's almost, it gets really bad when the captain of your team wants out. And I think that comes from them saying they're going to keep Steve Yzerman another year. And Larkin, it's almost like Dylan Larkin's a guy who has a girlfriend that's dragging him through the mud, and he's continually telling his parents, the fans, that everything is okay. Everything's fine. Everything's going to be good. The relationship's great. We're going to get married, yada, yada, yada. And every year, whenever, like, the idea of proposing comes up, they just miss the mark. Like, she does something to screw it up. Yeah, that's literally what's going on with him and the Red Wings right now. So, like,
you heard it here first. Playing for Detroit is an abusive relationship.
It is. It's the same as Toronto. I think they are, like, literally one and the same. Like, go Leafs, go. But, like, they're literally one and the same.
Why is it always original 6 teams? Like,
the original 6 is kind of falling apart, if we're being honest. Like, it's not looking too good.
Yeah. Old school classic hockey is in shambles, dude. It's all about the new school, the new kids.
You literally have 2 of the newest teams formed in the Cup right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild. But
do you consider Carolina a new team? I mean, they've been around for a while.
I mean, they're formed in 98, 99, because Hartford disbanded in 97 and they relocated. So that's a new
but do you talk about, like, relocation as starting over, or, like,
I mean, they're still a new team. Like, I think they carry the Hartford history, but, like, they are the Carolina Hurricanes. Like, there's no getting away from that. Like, Vegas is an expansion, so they are, like, a new era team, I guess. But, like, you get what I'm saying. But Dylan Larkin, I mean, we'll see where he ends up. I would like to see him end up in San Jose.
I think that's a pretty likely place too. That's my second opinion, is where he's going to end up is San Jose. I think that Winnipeg is probably the most likely, just because I think they have more assets that Detroit's going to want. I don't think Detroit wants young players. I think they want more experienced players because they want to
make the playoffs.
They want to, like, they want it now. They need to turn around right now, or else it's bad for them. And I don't think bringing in young players is what they're doing. I think they need to bring in some more experienced guys, and I think Winnipeg has a little bit more value to them in that aspect of a trade, but it depends on what Winnipeg's willing to give up too. So, but I don't know. I mean, those are definitely 2 likely teams. I don't see the Pittsburgh thing. I don't see that one happening. That's just on me, like, my personal opinion. It just doesn't kind of compute in my head.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting, and I think it's kind of a really terrible situation as a Detroit fan. You're like,
I think I would love to see San Jose or Buffalo just full swing at Dylan Larkin.
Yeah, Buffalo is not bad. I agree with the division thing. Like, that would be a little risky for them.
A lot of Montreal rumors too, obviously, for Larkin.
Yeah, but I think he comes out. I think he goes out west.
I could totally see out west too. I mean, is there like a Rope Hintz, Maverick Bork, and a pick for Dylan Larkin in the works right now? Yeah.
Damn. Can they even afford his contract? Can they even?
If we got rid of Rope, yeah.
Yeah, because you haven't even seen what's his name's Robertson's contract. July 1st is gonna hit, and you're just gonna see that $14 million contract for Robertson, dude. It's gonna be insane. 14.2.
Do we want to get into this right now?
No, we can save it. We could talk about it a little bit, but
I don't think the Stars are going to re-sign him.
You don't think they can, or you don't think they will?
I don't think they can, or they will.
Really?
Like, I just don't think it's feasible.
Huh.
I think Robertson is going to.
I think
he's going to get. Go
ahead.
I think he's getting like 14 mil on the dot, 7 years max term with an East team.
Damn. Because his request is that. I'll say this, and this is going to be a hot take, controversial, like, a clickbait kind of, statement right here. If they don't re-sign Robertson, I think their GM absolutely should lose his job. That would be the biggest fumble of his career and is grounds for termination.
Yeah, I mean,
if you can't make that happen, you would say, I will get you the money tomorrow, and you trade the house away basically to make it, to have enough money to sign him.
So
they have so many assets they can get rid of to keep him, and he is way more valuable to the team than a lot of those other guys.
He is more valuable to the team than 99% of the team. And I'll say this, for all the Dallas fans out there who are saying, just let him go, we can't afford him, just get other pieces. Robo is like, just one guy isn't going to get us the cup. Only Dallas star in history with 100 points. Yeah. Only. Mike Modano didn't do it. Jamie Benn didn't do it. He's the only one. And he's second to Mike Modano in goal scoring seasons with the second, third, and fourth place.
Yeah. And he is so young still. I mean, he has a whole,
he's our age.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a lot of career left that, I mean, if you sign him, lock him up for a 7 or 8 year deal, then you only have to worry about re-signing him for a veteran deal down the road for half the contract that he's on.
Yeah.
In an era when the cap is going to be, a third of the amount that it is now, like a third amount, third higher than now.
Yep.
There are only 2 players in Dallas that are safe from being traded away to make a deal for Robertson, and that's Rantanen and that's Heiskanen. Everybody else is fair game.
Johnson's safe.
I mean, in a way, a little bit. I mean,
would never trade him away. I guarantee it. He's the next captain.
Fair. But you get what I'm saying. But it's not guaranteed. There are 2 players that are guaranteed that you have to keep. Johnson is great. Don't get me wrong. He's one of the best new players right now, especially, he's super underrated. But if you need to get rid of him to keep Robertson, you have to.
You're going too far. All you would have to do is trade Rope, Maverick Bork. I think those are the 2 top candidates. Because you have to get rid of a high cap carrying guy. So if we look at those for high carrying, it's Rope, Sagan, or Lindell. Those are the other 3 that you have to think about. We're not getting rid of Lindell. You can't get rid of Sagan. Nobody will trade.
Isn't their third highest player Ottinger?
We're not getting rid of Ottinger, bro. What the you can't do that. All I'm saying is, they're going to have to move some pieces.
It's an expensive contract for mid-play.
It won't be mid-play for much longer. Don't worry.
Just saying.
Right, it's going to be all right.
Anyway, I'm talking about this, and I'm right. You know what I'm thinking about it? I'm thinking in the back of my mind is Cale Makar. That's why I'm talking about this. That's why I'm I'm hoping, praying July 1st, Cale Makar signs his extension because he's eligible to sign an extension or, a new whatever on the 1st, after July 1st, praying he takes that 12.5 contract, dude.
Well, I think it's more likely that Cale Makar is an Av for life than Robertson is a star for life.
Sure. I don't think Cale Makar is going anywhere. I think luckily the Avs have got players that really like playing there and would rather play for them and be paid less than play for other teams and make more.
Well, I think
they have a bunch of players that took team-friendly deals.
I think all the players love playing for Dallas. Dallas is just in cap hell. So Dallas is the luckiest team in the league that the cap is going up. There's no other team with such a tight budget than my team, but
it's crazy, dude. It is insane.
It's tight.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's penny pinching. So we'll see.
I still stand by the statement I said. If they don't re-sign Robertson, biggest fumble.
Oof.
For their GM. No matter how his record previously, that would be that could potentially be a fireable offense if he doesn't re-sign him. I think it's just insane to not make it happen.
Well, come July 1st.
Hey, yeah, exactly. That would be the greatest thing ever. Everybody knows I'm not, they're a rival team, but also I understand. I get it. It's a big deal for that team and I don't want to see them mess that up. I mean, it would be great for the Avs if they mess that up, but I still don't want to see it happen because, deep down, I do like the Stars. I gotta support them a little bit. I'm in Texas here, even though they're not gonna be the Dallas Stars anymore, dude. The Plano Stars.
Hey man, you ever been to Plano?
Yes.
Whole bunch of nothing out there. Perfect room for
not anymore, dude. Plano's
Metroplex.
Plano's up and coming, dude. There's
it is, yeah.
All those fancy houses out there.
We're gonna in 4 years, you and I are gonna have a blast going to that complex, dude. I mean, we're gonna be spending weekends there instead of nights. It's gonna be fun.
I've got family there, so.
You do? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep. Near Plano. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Huh.
Mhm.
Well, good. All right. We have a place to stay then. Jordan's family in Plano, thanks ahead of time for letting us stay in your guest room. Yeah, we'll see y'all in 2031.
Yeah.
So.
That's gonna be crazy. I'm actually kind of excited for that. Like, new stadiums are cool.
Yeah, it'll
You
be a
know,
fun time.
Way
Rip
better
AAC.
than way.
Rip AAC.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
real ones now.
Yeah.
So.
New stadiums way better than those old lame stadiums, dude.
Yeah.
Bring back my
Hot
hatred
take.
of Montreal Stadium, dude.
Hot
Overrated.
take.
Also,
Okay, that's enough. That's enough.
here's my closing opinion about stadiums. If your stadium doesn't have a way for both teams to walk back to the locker room without having to cross the ice, lame. If the opposing team has to go across the ice to get back to the locker room, lame. Rebuild your stadium.
Yeah, that's rough. I don't really have an opinion on stadiums because I've been to some cool old ones, been to some cool new ones. Here in Austin, UT's stadium was built in 1924, and yeah, it's had renovations, but you walk through that thing, there's history, baby. There's culture, and that lasts. It's almost like like in the mafia movies when they piss on the gravestones, and it's like there's that history, like it's been pissed on, it's rugged, but that's a good guy, like he was a good man, yeah.
That's
Okay,
crazy.
that's enough. That's enough. And by the way, people do piss on the walls at DKR. I'm just telling you, if you ever end up at a UT game, there's the bathroom lines get rough. All right, I've pissed on a wall in my day. I'm gonna say it. But
I think that's just like football stadiums in general, though. I feel like that's more normal there.
it depends on how many Millers go down the hatch at a Texas game is if I'm gonna piss on the wall. But
yeah. That's because it's an outdoor stadium, I don't think you're doing that in like an indoor, indoor stadium.
I bet
you never know. You never know.
What Calgary's been playing at the Saddle Dome since like 1850. There's got to be piss on the wall somewhere. Calgary fans, let us know in the comments.
Isn't Calgary the one that they fired that guy?
No.
The janitor? Was that?
No, Mackenzie Weegar was a huge advocate after he got traded there, and he was like, I would love for them to build a new stadium. I'd love to play here for the rest of my life. And then they traded him away, and then they announced that they're building the new stadium the day after they traded Mackenzie Weegar. I remember that.
No, what was that? What was that stadium that fired a janitor because he peed into the drain where they dump all the ice from the Zambonis and all that stuff? Did you not remember this?
No, I've never heard about this.
They said that he did that or whatever, and they fired him, and then he sued them and won because it was wrongful termination because
okay, now I feel like I do kind of remember this. We got to look this up.
I feel like it was in Canada though. I don't know.
We'll report on this in the next episode. But whoever that guy is, we'd love to have you on.
Yeah, he'd been his entire career. He had worked for this stadium or whatever, doing that.
That sounds like a Toronto thing.
No, I don't remember where it was. It might have been in the U.S. I feel like it might be in the U.S. actually. Not anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I remember it had to do with hockey because it was right at the beginning of the season.
Pissing in the ice drain, man.
That's wild. Well, and then it turned out he actually didn't or something like that. I don't know. They fired him for not even for doing it, for exposing himself or whatever.
Yeah.
What they fired him for. But anyway, it was crazy, dude. It's such a wild story.
I think that's a good way to end off talking about piss. I think we've had our fun today.
Gosh.
Listen, we appreciate it, y'all. Go follow all the socials. Always link in the description, everything. Icing the Puck podcast on everything. Thanks for all the engagement. We've been a little, inactive, but there's not as much to talk about here. Yeah, great Stanley Cup. Can't wait to talk about it. If it finishes up early or late, should be good. We'll see y'all in the next one.
Yeah, looking forward to these next couple games to, see what happens. Whose prediction is going to be right? Who's going to win? Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I trying to hold strong to my predictions. Getting a little tough, but I
mean, didn't you predict Vegas would win game 1, Carolina would win games 2 and 3?
But I predicted Carolina wins the whole thing.
Sure. So, anyway, hey, there's lots of hockey left. So
I said Carolina in 6. So we'll see. We'll see.
Still, yeah. All right, we will see everybody on the next one. Just enjoy some hockey.